If you could just tap that glass on that spider.
But if you could think back to when Kevin was doing, I'm living alone, make sure you tap at the same tempo.
We're going to be cutting there, Rod. So I need you to match the level. We've woken Macaulay up from his nap, and we're eating into the 5 hours he's allowed to be working on set. So you can sort of match his energy here as you tap on this tarantulas.
Who plays Rod? I realize we're calling him Rod, and I don't know.
We've been guilty of this for some other people too. I think for all the siblings,
everyone except for Hillary Wolf. Everyone except for judo star Hillary Wolf.
Who plays Rod in Home Alone? Jedediah Cohen.
Love it.
Jedediah Cohen. Let's just real quick see what else he's done. He's known for Home Alone.
With a name like that, where do you think he stands on this whole Israel-Palestine thing?
Ooh, I thought this was going to be a non-political podcast.
This is still pre-roll, isn't it? Let's get into let's do an intro.
Oh, you didn't want all of this classic
me bashing on Hillary Wolf. I still want her as a guest.
Look up people on IMDb, the podcast.
Wasn't he in some other thing?
I'm pretty sure he was in some other thing. According to the Internet Movie Database, Jedediah Cohen, who plays Rod in Home Alone and Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, only has 2 other acting credits, and they're both short films in the year 2000.
Well, because he's primarily not an actor, he's the third Cohen brother.
No, different spelling. Different.
Oh. Is this Cohen, not Cohen?
Cohen, yeah. A mutual hen.
We hen together, or we don't hen at all.
Jerod, did you know that Jedediah Cohen, who plays Rod in Home Alone and opens the current minute that we're speaking about, he has a degree in astronomy and astrophysics from Harvard?
I find that interesting, given that those are not areas of excellence for Harvard.
That's like the communications department of Harvard.
Yeah.
Just
why go there? Because honestly, even Cal Poly would be better and a tenth of the price. I mean, not that it matters because he's got Home Alone money, right?
He gets some residge.
He's got, assuming he negotiated well.
Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Well,
but he doesn't have like Hillary Wolf, tier credits. He doesn't have billing a la.
No, this is the first time that we're seeing his name because he didn't pop up in minute 1 or 2.
Poor Jedediah.
He's pretty key to this minute, at least. This minute and the next is Rod City. After that, though, he does kind of disappear from the film.
He does. I would like to point out that in my assessment so far, Rod is the only one concerned about something other than himself.
Hey, that's a really good point. I think a recurring observation of ours through these first 5 minutes of Home Alone is that everyone's kind of wrapped up in themselves and not thinking of others. And here we have Rod kind of sweetly wondering who's going to feed the spider while we're gone.
Yeah. We need more of that in the real world and in universe.
For sure. He's also kind of genuinely interested in like getting old man Marley kind of off the hook, trying to sort of justify his behaviors. He's just trying to be nice. So yeah, Rob is the only empathetic character we have so far.
Alternatively, Rod is the expert in French babes.
Well, he is sort of established as a foil to Buzz. We understand Buzz so much better because almost a complete opposite of him is hanging out in his room with him.
Right.
So,
but they're both older kids, right? Like they got to watch the movie with Frank, or at least some portion of it.
They're definitely in big kid table territory, so they have that in common. But you can tell they're very different.
Yeah,
Buzz is jockish, and Rod is a nerd. They found a squeaky voice nerd for this role.
So on jockish, can we talk about how many bits of sports equipment?
So much.
He has clearly, like, we'll skip hockey for a second because I have some other thoughts there. But he's got a baseball bat. He's got like a baseball helmet. He's got another type of helmet, which might be like I don't even care to speculate. He's got a snowboard. Like, he's in everything. But he obviously has a hockey stick and some skates. And I noticed a few trophies. So the question
at least
I have,
got that hockey trophy on his dresser, right?
Well, so that was going to be my question. Is Buzz good at hockey?
That didn't look any different from the trophies that I got playing hockey. Not hockey, but I played soccer as a kid, and I got a trophy at the end of every season, whether we did well or not. Yeah,
I guess that's a question around the timeline here. Was this filmed during the participation trophy era?
Oh, yeah. 1990, 89, 90. That's definitely, that's when I was playing soccer as a little kid and getting a trophy every season, going to Pizza Hut, getting a Bigfoot pizza for the team, and my dad, who was our coach, getting everybody a trophy.
Got it. Okay. So he might not be good at hockey.
Yeah, but the production design at least has us understanding that Buzz is an athlete. Maybe he's not a skilled one, but he is an athlete. I think we're supposed to assume that he's a standard athlete. He's, there's lots of Buzz with his arrogance and his brashness that suggests that he's got that alpha male energy. And
he's a high T individual.
He's dumb too. We see that in this scene. They got new beaches, not in the winter.
I obviously thought about that a lot more when I was younger. Like, do they close those beaches in the winter, or do they make you put on clothes?
I never thought about it like that. I think the implication is you're not going to the beach at Christmas time, unless you're Buzz and you're really, really hoping to see some naked women at the beach.
Which I always thought was pretty unrealistic anyway, because he's going on a trip with his family. Is he going to say, hey, I'll be back in a few. I have to check out this beach that's likely miles away from here.
Let's go to the beach, guys. Let's all 20 of us get in some vans and head down to the beach.
Like, the ops for that is a nightmare.
The nude one, s'il vous plaît.
Or does he think he's going to get it past them? Is he's going to say, hey, let's go to the beach? And they're like, well, which one? He's like, you know what? Turns out I know one. And it's got this French name that you clearly don't understand. So let's go there.
And you just gleefully look at naked women in front of your family for the rest of the day. That's his plan.
Realistically, I think that's an any port in a storm situation where if you have a choice of doing that awkwardly or not doing that, I think as a teenage boy, you're going to do that.
That's not me. I still haven't seen Jerry Maguire because it begins with a sex scene that I caught a few seconds of with my parents before I ran out of the room and decided never to finish Jerry Maguire. But I'm not Buzz. I'm a Rod. I took the BuzzFeed quiz. And it turned out that it was a Rod feed quiz.
You're like, I'm Michael Scott.
I'm all Rod, baby.
So I think you said it perfectly right at the beginning, is that Buzz is jock-ish.
Yeah.
He has jock tendencies.
It's that hair. That haircut is so... He looks like an action figure.
It looks very similar to... I know that we want to make this podcast somewhat evergreen, and this is too timely of a reference, but it looks like Henry Cavill in the recently released Argyle film.
Okay. I'll trust you on that one.
Which in the film is acknowledged as a bad haircut.
Now, Jerod,
is that a spoiler? I think everything's a spoiler.
You and I both have a small child at home. When have you found time to watch Argyle?
This is something that typically we would discuss off air, but I think this might be beneficial for the listeners as a technique. So my wife and I, we will periodically do a bit of a swap where one night, one of us will go see a film while the other takes care of the child. The following night, the other goes to see a film while one of us takes care of the child. And we come back and we discuss.
So you guys are both seeing the same film?
In sequential days, yeah.
This is what you do at Disney World. This is a ride swap at Disney World, but you do it for movies.
I don't think I know what a ride swap is.
It's a very simple concept. So we take the child to Disney World when she's 1.5, I think. Way too small to ride just about anything except for like the rides where like you literally sit in a slow moving bucket and it takes you through Neverland or Winnie the Poohville or It's a Small World. All those are fine. Shockingly little height restrictions, weight restrictions on any of that stuff, and babies could fly out of your arms on plenty of them. But for the bigger rides, you go up to the person kind of like manning the line and say, "Hey, got a ride swap?" They go, "Yeah." So one of you gets in the line and the other one gets a little like a fast pass kind of deal. And so one of you goes through the line regular, and then when you get off the line, you find your family, you grab the baby, and the other one takes their fast pass and just like zips through the front of the line. And that's how they let people with babies have a reasonable time. And if you kind of time it out, like I think my wife got to ride the Snow White mine cart roller coaster thing while I took Lola to a like Peter Pan or something that had like a really short wait. And we managed to get through that line and ride it by the time Maria had waited through the whole line, ridden it, gotten off, and found us. So it was a pretty good deal.
I appreciate the operational excellence of Disney.
It better operate because it's very expensive. But the child is free until they're 3, I think. So.
Oh, wow. That's even longer than the airlines.
You're listening to Jerod and Sonny's Having a Child Tips.
Having a child on a budget.
You go see a movie, and then the next day, they go see a movie. You guys do the same thing with restaurants too? Do you eat alone at Chili's and then tag your wife in?
We do that, but on the same visit. Like, I'm holding him while you dig into that. Because he'll be fine in the chair for about 3.5 minutes. And then you kind of have to tend to him.
Yeah, once they get running around age, it gets harder to sit down with the meal. I think we're, in some ways, graduated out of being able to go out to eat.
It'll come back.
One thing my wife, who we can credit to inventing this podcast, suggested is that we maybe tell people what happens in the minute that we're talking about, because apparently the listeners, which I think is maybe just her at this point.
Oh, Alex as well.
Okay.
She's listening to both.
Okay. So our wives, just maybe looking for some context. Where are we in the movie? What's happening at this point? So maybe a quick rundown, and then we zoom in.
Maybe that's a good intro going forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So we say something like, "Hi, I'm Sonny. This is Jerod. You're listening to the Home Alone Minute, where we talk about a minute of the movie Home Alone, because we're not busy right now writing songs about the movie Home Alone, which is what we usually do with our band. That's called the Home Alones." This is a very eloquent intro.
I love it.
And today we're talking about minute 5 through 6, the 6th minute of the movie, which begins with Rod tapping on a tarantula glass and ending with Buzz explaining that Old Man Marley is the South Bend Shovel Slayer and killed his whole family and half the people in the block back in 1958.
He does shorten it to 58, so we're to assume it's 1958.
Fair.
Given that Old Man Marley was probably born in what, the 20s?
That's a good guess.
Late 20s?
That's a good guess.
Then I think the math would say 1958.
He's not a pre-Civil War ghost still haunting this affluent Chicago suburb.
Yeah, so we get Rod. It starts with that and then goes through Buzz talking about that. In the meantime, though, what is interrupted by the South Bend Shovel Slayer is Kevin asking Buzz if he can sleep in his room.
We get maybe the third name that Kevin's been called in this film, which is Phlegmwad.
I think we should be keeping track of all these names.
So Lenny called him incompetent.
Les incompetents. Jeff called him cheek face.
And then Buzz has just called him Phlegmwad.
Yeah.
Or
Phlegmwad.
Which does bring me to a beloved segment of the Home Alone Minute, where I look at the screenplay that I found online.
Oh, yes.
And make some slight compare and contrast notes. And really the big difference here is that Buzz is much more vulgar in the script.
Oh, okay.
This is a PG-13 Buzz in the screenplay.
I was about to say, I thought this might have been the first curse in the film, but it sounds like it might have been even worse in the screenplay.
Oh, and let's talk about that, because when he says, I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass, that's pretty jarring.
It got me in trouble for quoting it.
Yeah. Did you tell it to your brother?
My brother didn't exist yet. So I was saying it from one Star Wars figure to another.
And Mom walked by right at that moment, or
Mom is just always around.
Your mom is kind of always around.
There's no walking by necessary. She's just there.
Omnipresent. What was the punishment? How did that go?
Well, there was some discipline once Dad came home, and it was mostly because I didn't know what the word meant. Therefore, I was not mature enough to actually be saying it.
Fascinating approach.
Convoluted, I might say.
You don't know that you did something wrong, so I'm going to punish you.
I'll be generous and say it's worse, because I do know that I was doing something wrong. I just didn't know what exactly I was doing wrong.
You know that that's a bad word.
I know it's a bad word, but I just don't know what it's referencing.
It's pretty vicious. It comes from that low angle, like staring right at the camera shot. And Buzz is really an imposing, scary figure in that moment. Like I buy that he's awful, that Kevin would be afraid of him.
Yeah.
So when Rod says, who's going to feed your spider while you're gone, in the script, Buzz says he just ate a, and I don't even like saying this on a reported podcast, Jerod, but I will do it for the sake of artistic integrity. He just ate a shitload of mice guts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should we bleep that, considering that we mark our podcast as clean?
Thank you. I probably will.
Okay.
I just don't like this being out there. Speaking of things I don't want to say into a microphone, don't you know how to knock Phlegmwad in the script? Jerod, are you ready for this?
Oh man, I was born ready.
Don't you know how to knock Dick Rash?
Ooh, that hurts.
It's pretty rough, right?
I have a physical pain with that.
I've got a cream you can get.
Phlegmwad is Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Very Nickelodeon sitcom kind of insult.
But Rod rash, not so much.
I do love the transition between I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were going on my ass, and then check it out, Old Man Marley.
I remember even as a young person thinking the angle of view, he couldn't have seen him.
Do we hear something? Do we hear like the scraping of the sidewalk shovel? The shovel.
I don't think so. I think we're led to believe that he does, but I don't think we hear anything in the film.
Okay.
At least not noticeably.
I want to go back to Buzz's room just a little bit.
Let's.
Because
there's a lot.
There's a lot. And how much foreshadowing is in this room alone? Like how many things there do we see that show up later in the movie? You want to just trade them off until we run out of things?
Are you going to be generous and give me the first easy one?
Sure.
It's not the first time we see it literally, but it is the first full view we get of MJ up on the wall. The 6+ foot MJ cardboard cutout,
which does have like the how tall are you sort of like ruler next to it too, which is kind of hard to tell. Like, is that part of the MJ or is it just next to it? I don't know if it's built into that. Like, is it like are you as tall as MJ, or is it just like Buzz's height ruler that maybe he's had since he was a little kid?
I think it's part of it because his arm is like kind of over it. So unless he's like meticulously cut out a poster, which is actually some props to the prop department, the California Girls poster is cut.
It's cut, like it's cropped and
stuff. It is cut. So if you look at the California Girls poster behind Buzz, there is a row of women on the bottom that's cut off, and one of them is actually moved up and beside the poster, almost as if it's a separate secondary poster.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think that's because the dimensions of the poster mean that the bottom might not have been seen in every shot, so they wanted to get some use out of it and make it sort of fill the walls. They filled the walls with fewer items. So some good resourcefulness there. But yeah, I would say all that to say that the MJ ruler, I think, is part of the poster.
So we've got MJ. There's also Buzz's BB gun hanging on the wall, which Kevin uses quite a few times later in the movie.
The tarantula itself,
kind
of a key player later on.
He's a device that keeps showing up, so we'll have to have a tarantula count every time that he makes an appearance, or she.
Yeah.
So you did MJ, I did BB gun, you did tarantula. Also in Buzz's room are the starting lineup action figures that Kevin shoots off of the laundry chute door
with said BB gun.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of what else shows up later. Obviously, the shelves he climbs.
We don't get a good look at those. I guess we do because he climbs them. What else is on those shelves? There's an ant farm. There's some sort of like Mad Magazine, like puzzle or board game or something. Buzz has books in his room, which is surprising.
Trophies, as we mentioned earlier.
Right. The trophies don't show up later, but yeah, that bookshelf.
There's a trophy on his. There's trophy on the shelf and trophy on, I guess, what would be his, probably like a chest of drawers kind of beside him.
Yeah. You wanted to say something else about the hockey stuff.
Well, I think just because it was more just kind of what I was talking about with like, is he good at hockey? Because I saw a few trophies and he has like all the hockey gear in his room.
He has all the hockey gear in his room? I only saw I think there are other skates.
Well, there's like a helmet, a stick, skates, and I feel like that's enough pieces to be like, why do you have all that in your room?
Well, as a guy who plays iced hockey, I do think about that. I do not keep my hockey gear like in my bedroom. It's stinky and takes up a lot of room. And if you're the kind of family who has a garage and has a full basement, that's where you're keeping your hockey gear. but it would be pretty natural for him to probably keep his stick up in his room for the sake of doing some practice while he's up there.
Maybe he does some drills on like a little ball or something.
Yeah, you can do some puck handling skills like up in your room. But the rest of the gear is just too much to put in your room, and it would stink. Buzz strikes me as the kind of guy who leaves all the gear in the bag and unzips it at the next game, and everyone sits a little farther away from him.
Well, that's part of his menace, right? Like that's part of his jockishness, is just being aggressive both in spirit and in aroma.
Yeah. He does groom himself quite a bit.
Yeah, he's pretty well put together. Expanding a bit on the MJ thing, did you notice how much Chicago Bulls stuff there is everywhere?
Well, it makes sense for where they are, right? That they would be Bulls fans, Blackhawks fans.
But it's like everywhere. And like even like he even has the Ice-T poster that has Ice-T wearing a Bulls hat.
Do you think that Buzz doesn't even really like Ice-T that much? He just saw a poster of a cool guy wearing some Bulls stuff, and he's like, yeah, all right, I guess I like Ice-T.
Maybe. Because at that age, that is the kind of link that you make.
Yeah, what does a guy like Buzz know about Ice-T? I mean, when I saw it, I was like, okay, so Buzz is into sort of, I mean, like, you know, like dangerous music, I guess. You know, Ice-T, like back then, has sort of that, you know, is this before or after Cop Killer?
Yeah, this is well known. So, yeah, it's reasonable that he would have that, especially given that he's from a upper middle class white family in Chicago.
Yeah, how many Ice-T posters were there in Winnetka, Illinois back then, you think?
Probably quite a few. Because that's the whole shtick that everybody talks about, right? Is that if you don't sell music to the minority, you sell music to the majority. So say what you want about Ice-T and NWA and whatever rap from that era, they were selling it to mainstream.
The record label is, at least, right? They're being marketed to kids like Buzz,
right?
And that's part of what's helping making them wealthy,
right?
Which I guess is a complicated relationship to their integrity and stuff. But now Ice-T is on Law and Order. And good for him.
Good for him.
I would say maybe the last bit of foreshadowing available to us in this scene is Old Man Marley, the South Bend Shovel Slayer.
Oh, I see.
Now, a character isn't really foreshadowing the fact that we see him later, but the rumors of him having killed a bunch of people with a shovel does come back when he saves Kevin with his shovel. He can wield his shovel like a weapon.
Yeah. It's funny the progress through that little tale, because when he's like back in 58 and you're like, okay, math checks out just timeline wise. He killed his whole family and you're like, wow, that's wild. And half the people on the block. And I'm like, all right, this is when I call it. Like, this is no longer feasible. This dude's walking around and you, a suburban teenager, know that he killed half the people on the block, but he's for some reason not in prison.
There's not enough evidence to convict,
as he said. But
this scene is extended in the screenplay just a little bit, and I will maintain that the movie version is what I'll consider canon. What I consider what actually happens, because that's the decisions that get made. This is the text we have in front of us. It's the final draft of it, right? But it is interesting to see what was originally there, and it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more in some situations, and maybe we'll get to some of this in the next minute. But in this scene, in the screenplay, he's just going out to get his mail. There's nothing about shoveling the sidewalks. He just goes to get his mail and he runs back in just like any person would do when he's out in the cold and just trying to get their mail and get back in real quick. And Buzz kind of uses that as, this is the only time you ever see him. He only gets his mail, and that's all he does. So he's more of a hermit than a scary looking presence every night shoveling the sidewalk.
That makes the check it out make more sense because, like you say, if he's a recluse, it would be more of a, oh, hey, quick.
Yeah, we're seeing Old Man Marley for the 5 seconds that he's out.
Right. So they might even be
night.
talking about him well past him going back into his house.
Right. I think what we have in this scene and what rolls over into the next minute is arguably stronger.
It serves both Buzz's story, but also serves the actual story of him being a kind old man that is salting the sidewalks.
Yeah, we see him doing a kind thing. One thing I wonder is the idea of him murdering his whole family. He's clearly trying to get a rise out of Rod, clearly trying to scare Kevin. Is he sort of making this up off the top of his head? Is he repeating the lore of the whole neighborhood? I guess Old Man Marley later on, when he talks to Kevin, he says that there's some rumors going around about me, but none of them are true. So you do get the impression that these kind of things are popping up. But also in this moment, Buzz is just trying to scare Kevin. He's just trying to sort of impress Rod. So how much of this is just coming out of Buzz's imagination?
Maybe I'm being unkind, but I don't see Buzz being able to improv 10% of that.
We're really zooming into the stupidity of Buzz, which doesn't reveal itself too many times in the movie, except for the A to D
great sequence
scene later.
No, because his naive approach to the French babes, I think, gives us a pretty clear look.
That's true. He is characterized as dumber than Rod in that moment.
Right.
I'll buy it.
Kind of on its own, I do have to call out again the obligatory red and green wallpaper.
We got some vertical stripes here, though.
Are they red and green stripes?
They
Yes,
are.
they are.
Yes, they are. But Buzz also has like a border at the top.
He has like a weird...
Are they baseball players or something? It's really hard to make out what they are. They look like they're sort of like drawings or sketches of like athletes in some way, but he's got some sort of weird, like, I've had this room since I was 7 kind of border.
Yeah, I can't quite tell what it is, but it's at least aesthetically not that pleasing.
What are we watching this in? 4K? When does 6K come out? We need more Ks. We need
a few more Ks. Yeah, if anyone who's listening has an original film print that they can send us.
We don't live in the same house. We'll need 2.
So if anyone who's listening has 2 original film prints that they could send us, that would be great.
I'd like a projector too, if that's all right.
I mean, while you're at it.
If you've got 2 prints of Home Alone and 2 35mm projectors and some sound equipment, I guess, I don't even know what we need. And do you think that's going to solve our problem? I've seen Home Alone on the big screen a few times.
But I can digitally capture that film at a much higher resolution, and we can then assess the border.
I see.
Among other things.
You say that like you've got a lab. Like
I don't have a lab, but I do have a telescene.
Yeah, you've got some tubs with some sort of solution and some scanning technology. And
well, you don't need the solution. It's just a machine because the thing's already developed.
Okay. Well, see, I don't have a lab, so
I have what I would estimate to be about 10% of what Express had.
Express Video, my old job. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It was good. We had like 10 VCRs all sort of like chained together through a distribution amp. So when someone needed a quick 10 copies of their corporate training video, I was your man right away, sir.
Did you eventually get in the sort of tower of DVD to do the dupes as well?
Yeah. We had one of those towers with like
sort of multi DVD RW.
Yeah, like just like 10 trays that would all spit out at the same time in a very satisfying way. You'd have to load them up. Those were good times. and people still needed physical media.
Well, it sounds like we still do, because the highest resolution Home Alone film that is currently in distribution seems to be 1080.
Yeah, Disney Plus just raised their fees, and I still can't make out what Buzz's wallpaper border is. Not okay.
Unacceptable. Can we talk about how great a name South Bend Shovel Slayer is?
Right. It's really good. We wrote a song about it.
We did. The song is maybe not as good as the name, but I think it's pretty good.
It's up there.
It's one more tick in the column of Buzz didn't make this up on the spot.
That's fair. It is a funny exchange. Have you ever heard of the South Bend Shovel Slayer? No. That's him. But I still don't know who he is.
What would you say? So, as best you can, dumb yourself down for a moment.
Okay.
And you're Buzz. And you say, have you ever heard of the South Bend Shovel Slayer? And I say, no. How do you kind of do the pickup after that? Is it that much different than what he did?
No, I just find it funny. I don't know who that is. That's him. Oh, okay. It seemed like there was more information. Oh, okay. You're about to give it. It's like, yeah, there's no smooth way to get into it.
I mean, it could have been like, have you ever heard of the South Bend Shovel Slayer? No. You gonna learn today.
Buckle up, Rod.
You about to find out.
Alternately, he could tell the whole story. Back in 58, he murdered his whole family and half the block. And that's him. And guess what? It's that guy right there. Great shot from the outside, by the way, of Buzz, Rod, and Kevin all watching him with the window conveniently like separated into 3 panes so all of their heads fit. And it makes me wonder, did they replace that window to a 3-pane window, or did they just luck out and get what they needed?
I'm going to go with the latter. I think the universe was ready for them. Actually, was that one shot on location or in the set in the school?
It's hard to know. I'd imagine it's on set because it's not the first floor of the house.
Yeah.
So setting up for like an exterior shot. I mean, I know they can do it, but yeah, I don't know.
But why? Yeah, all signs would point to it's being done on the set. So that means they had a choice when they're making the windows. And I would guess this scene is already mapped out in the shot list.
It'd be great if somebody besides us was doing the Home Alone Minute, like people who worked on the movie.
Well, I would imagine if there's someone out there who is prepared to send us 2 prints of the film, they likely got that through legitimate means, which means they have some connection to people connected to the film and could hook us up with a guest.
Well, and currently our listenership consists of your wife and my wife. And so far in our private conversations, neither has shared with me that they know someone who worked on Home Alone.
But there is a time shifting that occurs with podcasting in that at present, that might be the case. But once millions of people have listened to this,
I might be married to someone completely different.
That's true. So when you say your wife, that might be very confusing.
I'm so sorry, honey, whoever you are.
That is the perfect ending. But we also didn't mention the Walkman and how, again, stage business, Devin is killing it.
What is he doing with the Walkman? I think I missed this.
So as Kevin is walking in, props to Macaulay here because he does a great, like, I don't want to say skulking, but like he comes in very timid.
He is really, really good in this scene.
Just very afraid of what he's about to ask Buzz.
We know that Buzz is awful already from the indirect characterization that we've got, but we've also gotten Kevin creeping in like he's about to wake up a hibernating bear.
Well, and what contrast to him jumping up and down mere moments ago saying, "I'm living alone," like screaming at the whole house. And he's just, just softly, Buzz.
And there's so much emphasis on Kevin being weak and helpless, but he's trying. He's reaching out for help for all these things that he needs. Can you help me pack a suitcase? Toilet paper and water. Like, no one helps him. I need to not sleep with Fuller tonight. Can I sleep here? No. Which is kind of the point of the movie, I guess, right? He's got to learn how to, like, function on his own. But, man, no one throws him a bone.
No. It's a different lesson than a lot of us need to learn, which is like, don't be afraid to ask for help. But he seems to be asking for help when he should be self-sufficient.
He shouldn't need to learn that lesson, though. I mean, I get it, but his family sucks.
But that family that sucks includes Buzz, portrayed by Devin, who I think, again, does some great stage business here, where he is fiddling with his Walkman while Kevin is kind of creeping in. He seems to be like rewinding a tape, but again, it doesn't seem at all forced. It seems like he's legitimately trying to rewind a tape. He's very natural.
Well, and he's getting his Walkman ready for an international flight. Like, he's handling the same kind of business. This is Jeff putting his toothbrush in his back pocket. Like we all do when we're about to get on a plane. We all go to the bathroom, grab the toothbrush, and throw it in our pocket.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you need the shadow to prove the sunshine, and to see Jeff putting toothbrushes in his pocket helps you appreciate when Buzz is hearing his name from another room and turning around, or fiddling with a Walkman in a very natural way.
Agreed. Really good performance.
But not enough to edge out my nomination for Unsung Hero, which is Rod, who, again, is the only one concerned about something other than himself.